All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on in once again to another great, fantastic episode of South Carolina Live, the call-in show this time here on the Voice of College Football Network. I'm your host, as always, Lucas Hill. Thank you guys so much for tuning on in, wanting to join into the show. Open phone lines, 225 or 803-587-8365. 803-587-8365. You can call in, give us your thoughts, give us your takes, give us your opinions on all things South Carolina football. Or if you want to just come on in here and talk some SEC ball, that's cool as well. Guys, we have a lot to talk about today. We're recapping fall camp. We're giving our superlatives, who stood out the most, who made the biggest impact at the end of the day, and who at the end of the day is going to continue to elevate their draft or elevate their status whenever it comes to their opening game in just a week and a half as the South Carolina Gamecocks prepare for none other than the freaking Virginia Tech Hokies. And they're already talking, guys. They're already talking. But is anybody surprised? No. 803-587-8365, 803-587-8365. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, as always, Lucas Hill. Make sure you do us a favor. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button down in the description down below. Make sure you turn on the bell notification so that you are notified every time we go live here on South Carolina Live at the Voice of College Football. So let's go ahead and let's get into it. I told you what we were going to be talking about tonight. And to be quite frank with you, you're going to be in for a while because we have a lot that we really do need to discuss and a lot that I think is worth noting. We'll talk about Beamer's press conference this year. Clayton White came out to the media and talked a little bit about what went on during yesterday's press conference. We'll talk about some of the highs, some of the lows that went on during the media. And so I'm really excited to get after it, guys. I know you guys are as well. So again, appreciate you all for joining on in. All right, let's talk about the fall. Everybody knows fall is here. We're getting closer and closer to football season to begin. So let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about what we can expect in the next few weeks from this South Carolina roster. Number one, and I think the most important thing, is that this freshman receiving core is really freaking good. Guys, I think that from top to bottom, from last year to this year, this is a receiving core that is taking leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds compared to what we saw from them last year. This is a much better roster. This is a much better team as a whole than what we saw last year from South Carolina. And that's not knocking last year's team. Obviously, there's still a lot of questions on the front seven. There's still a lot of questions that need to be addressed when it comes to the receiving room. There's still a lot of questions that, to be quite honest with you guys, we don't know what's going to happen with that linebacking core. Your offensive line room, what are they going to look like? It's a lot of questions that, again, we're going to have to answer. And are they questions that we want to answer? Not really, but I think it is important at the end of the day that we talk about this. So once again, guys, hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Turn on the bell notification. We got almost 100 of you guys already inside the huddle right now. Make sure you guys continue to smash the like and share button, guys. You guys are the best. Got over 100 people up in here at this point in time. Once again, the receiving core really showed out during camp. I think that from a long-term perspective, you should be very impressed with what you're going to get at the end of the day from South Carolina. Realistically, you should have a lot of dudes. I mean, you're going to have dudes at receiver. Dudes that you're going to see on a consistent basis be difference makers for this roster. Dudes that are going to continue to elevate their game as the season goes along. We talked about a lot of them. Donovan Murph showed out. He's going to continue to elevate his game. Malik Clark, he's the prized wide receiver recruit that you got from last year. We've been seeing signs of greatness from him. We talk about a guy like Mazio Bennett, who's not a freshman, but is continuing to take strides that I don't think a lot of people were expecting. So as a whole, we've seen them in camp, but how can you continue to elevate what you have already done from this point forward and translate that to on-the-field success? Guys, this was a receiving core in South Carolina that was average, maybe below average, what was expected of them at the end of the day. And I think that's disappointing knowing the type of team that you had last year, that realistically you had a lot of talent at the receiver position and you could have utilized it effectively. You really could have. And the fact that you didn't, and because of how inconsistent you were, that was a problem last year, guys. You can't have that this year. You really can't. You have to continue to get consistency from your offense. You have to get consistency from your playmakers, and you have to be able to develop at a high rate. Better than you were last year, better than you were the year before. Better be better than the year before, because you had no consistency on the offensive side of the ball. But now, as Phil Steele says, you got Superman in the backfield. How do you translate that at the end of the day? Overall, I'm very impressed with this receiving core. They're going to continue to elevate their game. I love what Mike Shula has done throughout fall camp. I think he's done a magnificent job of elevating guys, putting them in those roles, putting them in different situations, in those sudden change situations that Beamer was talking about during his presser yesterday. And I think that makes a lot of sense for you to do that. I love going into sudden change situations because it helps create that competitiveness on both sides of the ball. And I think that's what you need at the end of the day if you're South Carolina. I don't think you had a lot of those last year. And I think you're going to continue to see those things going into this season. I'm really excited to see what you have at the end of the day whenever it comes to this roster. I know that there's more to come. I do know that the bulk of this roster has been here probably the last 2 years or so. But man, I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what happens, man. I really am. So again, we'll see what happens at the end of the day. Really excited to see what this wide receiver room looks like. It's looking really good. The youth and the experience that you're getting from this room, it's going to continue to get better as time goes on. Real fast, I'm going to take a break real fast. Let me go ahead and knock that out. We will be back in less than 2 minutes. Thank you to our friends at Amazon. Thank you to our friends at the Voice of College Football Bets. Got a lot brewing in this season. We'll stay tuned. You're tuning in to South Carolina Live, the Call-In Show, the number 6 edition. Free stool, by the way.
You can make a difference here at the Voice of College Football. Use the Amazon link. Financially contribute to the Voice of College Football without spending a penny. Same shopping experience. It's easy. Go to any video on any channel. Go to the description section and grab the link right next to the capital letters that say Amazon. Use that link, and Amazon will instantaneously convert to your account, settings, history, everything intact, just like whatever link you use right now. No difference. Pay no attention to the product that you see right there. Just go search what you want. Don't forget the Amazon link. Thank you for your support. Sincerely, the voice of college football. College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the voice of college football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the voice of college football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select a betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.
All right. Continuing on with what we saw during fall camp. And I want to go to a tweet that I put out not too long ago. In fact, yesterday was when I put it out, because I think this does need to get addressed. Number one is that what Beamer had to say in his presser was very important. And I think that it is one that you need to pay attention to at the end of the day. So, number one, he said, I believe we're better in that running back room than what we were last year. I can't disagree with what he had to say. I can't. It's hard for me to, because number one, you have a lot more depth in your receiving room compared to what you had, or in the running back room compared to what you had in 24. 24, it was the Rocket Sanders show. And everybody that says, well, Oscar Attaway had a little bit of say in it, that's BS. Oscar Attaway was the second option, sure, but he didn't get a whole lot of touches. He didn't. You know, whether we want to admit that or not, I mean, that's nothing but the truth, guys. So, I do think that at the end of the day, this running back room is deeper than what people realize. Let me explain why. When you look at Oscar Attaway is a powerful running back. Very, very powerful back. Can lower his shoulder down to lay out the boom. Can essentially do it all in the backfield. Can be shifty when he needs to be. And can demonstrate what he has done as a powerful running back. He can showcase the potential that he has done, that he has put on display. We'll see. Number two, let's talk about Isaiah Augustave. Augustave is almost like Oscar Attaway, except not as fast, but he is a bowling ball. Guys, you can't bring this cat down with just an arm tackle. You got to wrap him up. You have to. You don't have a choice. Because he will make you miss, he'll make you pay, and then he'll lay you out. He'll lay you out. And the fact of the matter is, is that even though he was in an offense like Colorado, where he wasn't a feature guy, everything was all aired out. When he got the football in his hands, he made a lot of defenders pay. And we've done a tape talk on him. We've talked about what he's done to demonstrate what he brings to the table. And if you want to check that out, go to the website, go subscribe. First of all, go do that. Then go to the videos, go to the oldest ones. You'll see the tape talks that we have on Isaiah Augustave. And Augustave is a really, really dominant back. A guy that can take over a football game, and a guy that I think can really do pretty incredible things with the football, whether we want to admit that or not. But regardless of this, guys, that's the type of athlete that he is, and that's the type of athlete that he will be at the end of the day. That's what you want to see, and that's what you're going to get. It's impressive, dude. It really is. So that's my take on it. I don't know if it's going to continue to happen with what South Carolina is bringing as a whole in the running back room. Now, does it continue on? Yes, absolutely it does. Because the depth is there. The depth is continuing to be there. Things don't change, man. It really doesn't. So, I think overall as a whole, you need to be impressed. You need to be worried because college football is not going to expect for a running back room like South Carolina's, whom the main talk has been Rasul Faison. And I've already told you Monday, even if he's not eligible, this is the deepest running back room that Beamer has ever had. That's saying something. Knowing that you had one of the best backs to come out of South Carolina in a while in Rocket Sanders. Thing is, you've been able to develop guys at a higher rate compared to what your predecessor did. You're not letting talent just walk out the door. You're not letting talent just be wasted. That's the number one thing you wanted to avoid when Shane Beamer first came in to South Carolina. That's the number one thing that you wanted to avoid. And you did that. You did. So that's rather impressive with what you were able to do. Do I agree with what some people have to say about them? No. But you know what? That's the truth whenever we talk about this running back room. Is that it's deep. There's different things that we can do in this room to elevate the game of this room and continue to develop the running backs at a high rate like you've been able to do dating back to last year. I trust Mike Shula. He's been around the offensive game for quite some time. It's not like things can get worse. They certainly can continue to get better and continue to get put on display as what you've been able to do. It's exactly what you wanted, man. It's exactly what you wanted, and that's exactly what you're getting. You needed it. And I think some people do need a wake-up call about this running back room. And when they act like, oh, well, it's such a horrible thing that you don't have a guy like Rasul Faison in the building. Guys, it does not matter if he isn't able to step on the field. Yes, you want him back on the field. Of course you do. It's not going to kill you at the end of the day. Not in my opinion. I don't think it's even going to come close to killing you guys. But what it will do is just elevate that program more and elevate what you've already been able to do, which is get pissed off about it. Because, let's just be honest. There's nothing the NCAA can do at this point. The only thing you can do is just continue to get better, especially in that department. Okay, let's talk about what let's review the rest of Shane Beamer's press conference at the end of the day, because I do think that it's something that we had to note throughout this presser. We'll see what happens with what he says next week, too. So he was specific in his answer on what he saw from scrimmage 1 and 2 this past weekend. He says the improvement was very noticeable. He said, I was hoping to see our punters punt even better, our snappers snap even better, and our kickers kick even better. And they did. That was very good to see. I was hoping to see maybe a little bit more explosiveness on the offense as far as explosive plays. Saw that. Wanting to stay healthy was probably the biggest thing. We'll get to the health situation in a little bit. Guys, the offense has needed to create a spark. You got that this past weekend. We saw play after play after play, big catch after big catch from the young guys like Mazio Bennett, like Nick Harbor and company, guys that you're expected to see break out at the end of the day. And that's what you got. You needed that. That's a huge boost for your program. That's a huge boost for the rest of the year. You need that. And I think that it's so critical to get that type of momentum started on air, especially from the offensive perspective. You can't lie. That's a big get for your offense at the end of the day. At the edge rusher depth, though, should this be a cause for concern? We'll talk about it. George Wilson is going to be out for a while. It's now the second long-term injury with Kabi Sakai-Pra, who's going to be out for a while. Sakai-Pra was a former three-star edge coming out of the class of 2025. This was going to be his first full year at South Carolina. So, big-time guy. Had good stats coming out of his senior year of high school. But I think the biggest one with George Wilson, who realistically, I don't think that it should be any concern if you're a South Carolinian, but it's depth to that edge rush that you needed at the end of the day. Now, when I say this, here's a guy that originally decommitted from South Carolina, flipped to Florida State in 2020, former three-star guy coming out of the class of 2020, has not been around the college career for a while. He's a transfer from Campbell, had 9 sacks over the last 2 years. So Wilson's added depth, added experience that you need. It does suck that he's going to miss this season, or at least a good bit of it. But do expect him to make a return by the time we get to the midseason part of 25. Eventually, I do see him potentially getting some quality reps in. Brian Thomas were both alternating in and out. I think he was running with 2s. Thomas was a consistent rotation in the 1s. I think overall, though, it's a big loss if you are South Carolina. The edge presence is not the best right now. There's not a whole lot of depth outside of what Sampson and or not, yeah, Dylan Sampson and Brian Thomas brings. Other than that, that's just about that. Jaylen Brown is going to be out most, if not all, of the season. So, I mean, it ain't you lose Brown at that edge. Does it hurt you again? Not necessarily. Didn't get a whole lot of playing time last year, but as still dealing with that knee injury. He's got to get healthy. Jaylen can be a really good player, too. He can play just about all over the defensive line at interior or at the edge. But I think with Dylan with Dylan Stewart taking the majority of the heat that's going to be on him, he may end up getting treated like Jadeveon Clowney was during his junior year at South Carolina. But that's going to free up other guys like Brian Thomas Jr., like J.R. Johnson, like Jalen Kilgore, like DQ Smith to come up the middle. And it's guys that Clayton White can utilize and get them on different blitz packages, different stunts. That's different things that you can use to confuse a defense. That's what you need at the end of the day. And I think that it's something that is necessary for this team in order to continue to add that depth that you're lacking. How about you make it up with different packages that you can use? And I think that'll be a great thing for Clayton White to use, and I think it's going to be a thing that they're going to utilize at the end of the day. So, really excited for that. Now, the most thing I am excited for, though, guys, is reviewing this film. And I think that if you would agree, I think we need to do some film on our guy, Lenore Sellers. Now, I reviewed this earlier today, just FYI, and I was just amazed at what I saw. And the reason why I wanted to do a tape talk on Lenoris is because of what type of athlete that he is. Guys, Lenoris Sellers is a freaking freak of nature. And if you think I'm lying, just watch the tape of this kid. I mean, how many quarterbacks do you see like that with 1, 2, 3 for top 50 defensive linemen coming his way? Peter, that dude right there, that's right up in this alley is Peter Woods, who's going to be a top 15 pick this year. Gets out of a sack, gets out of another sack, and ends up going straight up the middle for a big game. Look at gets a little stun on the double team. He gets free. This is just Lenoris being Lenoris. He's a little bit high. Gets out of 1, 2 more other sacks. You have 4 guys that are there that can close in on this kid. That can close in on him to get the sack. 3. Was that another missed tackle? Another one. Wow. I mean, that's the type of athlete that Lenore Sellers brings. The versatility and escapability that he brings to the table is truly remarkable. Now, he stepped into that one right there. And he fumbled the damn football. He can't turn it over. I will give South Carolina this. It's a damn good job of being able to close down the pocket and just be able to get the sack. Let me go ahead and there we go. Let me be right back. I need you guys to watch this film, man. This is incredible. Sorry, y'all. My dog was whimpering. What did I miss? Did I miss a big play or two? No, I've kind of already covered most of this a little bit. Oh, I only missed probably one play. Little jailbreak screen. Actually, it's just a little slip screen, not even a jailbreak. Get the receiver in motion. Get him set up. Good play. Really, really good play and good design. And Lenore and Sellers can bait you. He can bait you too when it comes to this. Boom. On the dot. Guys, you're talking about obviously Peter Woods, who a lot of people know about. I think that's DeMonte Carter or DeMonte Lawson or whatever his last name is. That's Woody, 17. Damn, I'm trying to remember his last name, but that dude is just a freaking nature. But it's plenty of pressure. Get the football out and get yards. That's what matters most in a Clayton White or in a Mike Shula offense. They're going to go quick. This is almost going to be NFL-esque. And look, this is still him and the escapability that he brings. Now, he had that one to Rocket, too. He's able to get away. Rocket's got to come up with that football, too. That's yards, man. That's yards. Got to be able to hang on to the football. I will say, though, at some points, he does tend to bail out of the pocket too early. Good. Just like I said, live to see another day. All right, we're going in a bit of. This is no. This is Cougar. So Cougar is 3 down linemen. Boom, boom, boom. Almost playing prevent defense because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 deep. You're playing cover because you're basically playing prevent at this point. Just check it down and get yards. That's a good job. And look, this is what we're talking about with just being steady. And I think one of the biggest things that he's going to have to realize this year is that this is going to be a much better offensive line as a whole compared to what you had last year. Good blitz pickup. Good ball. And Eight's going to be one of your guys, man. Nick Harbor has to step up. Good blitz pickup by Oscar Attaway and the tight end, too. Gives Lenoris that time that he needs, and he's able to deliver. Get a guard out in front. Dude, I mean, just the escapability is truly incredible. This is not an easy play that he just had. You get beat all across the line of scrimmage. But it's just Lenoris Sellers continuing to make plays on a given basis. That is what he brings to the table as a quarterback. Escapability, ability to get out of the pocket. Get him the football, man. He's got to come down with that. That's a good ball, too. It's good coverage, but that's a catchable ball by Nick Harbor. He's got to come down with that. You had a lot of drops last year. That's why this was such a below-average receiving core. Yeah, you got to come down with that football, man. Can't shoot yourself in the red zone either. You turn the ball over way too much. See, one of the things I have a gripe with about Lenoris is that he hurried a lot. I mean, he was hurrying ridiculously bad in the pocket. Because I feel like he was just so scared of getting hit, or he was hesitant in the pocket, that it threw his awareness off. It was bad, man. He's got to get better with that. He's got to know better. Got to know better. Let's continue. So, overall, man, what do I think about Lenoris? Lenoris is there's a reason I have him number 2 in my quarterback rankings. Because he can make plays. This is one of those plays. On slants, gets the football out in front of receivers in stride, especially in the slot. I don't think you had dudes out there at receiver last year. You didn't have blazing speed. I think you have potential, but you never countered off of that. But this is what I'm talking about. Rushing the play. If he sits down and if he doesn't just take off, right up at the top, quick slant, get the football out. Can't have those, man. But I really do like the way he takes command of this offense, to be honest with you. It's not a knock on him. That one, he just made a wrong read. He should have given it to the back. This is a good job of that linebacker of being able to force him out of bounds. It's a really good read. Let's go to one of the last plays that he had near the goal line. Look at this. Here we go. This is the fade route that I think a lot of people were talking about near the end of the game. Bam. On the freaking money. The fact that was that ruled out of bounds? That was a horrible call. You get screwed on that one, and guess what happens? we're going to end our film session on this one. Get out of the pocket. Go to your strong side. Touchdown. That is how you end off the football game. Right corner, score. It's the type of guy that he is, man. I mean, that's just Lenoris being Lenoris, man. That's why Lenoris Sellers is such a talent and why I'm so excited to see him this upcoming season. He's going to make a lot of fans a lot of money. We talked about contract years with Zay Collier about Texas. Lenoris Sellers is about to have himself a contract year this year. No question in my mind about it. That Clemson game is just one example. You go look at other games that he played. Texas A&M is a great film study, in my opinion, because he dominated throughout that game. The offensive line gave him what he needed. Gave him the right reads, gave him the right blocks that he needed to get out in space and make plays on a consistent basis. That's what you needed. And you're going to get that with him. I did want to briefly mention this before we got out of here. By the way, guys, phone lines are still open. 803-587-8365, 803-587-8365. You can call into the show. You can use that StreamYard link that is in the chat so that we can get your thoughts on this, guys. So, by the way, if you haven't heard, Alabama running back commit E.J. Crowell has been suspended for Friday's opener against Saraland due to an amateurism violation. The sources say that the five-star accepted a gift that has since been returned. Apparently, it is a self-reported violation. Wow. Interesting. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I think that is interesting. So here's the AHSAA's amateur rules. Only amateurs are available. An amateur is one who does not use his or her knowledge of an athletics or skills for gain. So he got a gift. Who ratted him out, though? That is what I want to know. Because that doesn't make any sense. Why would you rat out your own guy? Really? Really? I guess we've come to that now in college football. That makes no sense to me. That's just ridiculous. You ratted out a kid for accepting a gift? That makes no sense. Why? Stupid, man. It's just my opinion. All right. Jalen Kilgore and Lenoris Sellers have been named to the Senior Bowl top 300 list. They're they're the only two Gamecocks to make the list. Do I think they're going to play in the Senior Bowl? No. Kilgore is a possibility. Sellers, I don't think so, in my opinion. I don't think that it's going to happen at the end of the day. Just with what he has going on, I don't know if he's going to end up being in the Senior Bowl compared to other guys that are still trying to get looks and elevate their draft stock. I mean, unless you're a surefire top 30 pick, then you really have no business even participating in the Senior Bowl. That's why guys like Armand Membu, guys like that, that were initially in the Senior Bowl. That's why they ended up opting out at the end of the year. Guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for once again for participating. Leave a like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys for tuning in to South Carolina Live at the Voice of College Football. Y'all have a great rest of the week. Stay blessed. Don't stress.